Welcome to the Indie Corner. We're talking about all things independent comic books, specifically the deadliest high school comic book in the 80s, Rick Remender's Deadly Class. I'm Mikey.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Demoan.
And today people are back at it again with our return of our Deadly Class podcast, where we're going to be talking about volume number 7, which is going to be titled Love Like Blood, which is going to be covering issues 32 to 35. And thanks Rebecca and Demoan as always for joining me. As always, really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm excited, guys. It's been a while. I literally forgot when the last one was. No, I mean it's been a minute.
Yeah, I had to remember what happened in this book up to this point.
Yeah,
it has been a minute.
I mean, it has been a minute, but I mean, I don't know if y'all want to do like a quick little like recap, just to talk about what happened. But like, I'm just gonna talk about what happened during the last issue before this, right? Because it's because the story picks off right from there. Like, pretty much what happened was the new Deadly Class, which obviously is like the new gangs in Zele, Tashawi, Quan, and
freshman.
Yeah, the freshman. And I keep saying Gunter. I know his name's not Gunter, but he's Gunter. Helmet. They ended up going on vacation for, I believe it was spring break, and at the same time, they run into our old Deadly Class members, Marcus and Maria, obviously, who have escaped King's Dominion after, the final exam, and they cross paths, and, it's all happy and funsies, and then, the Yakuza show up, and that's not fun, but also at the same time, Victor and Brandy show up, trying to take them down after discovering that Marcus and Maria are alive. So, yeah, it's, it just spills off from there. We do not know what happened after that. So yeah, is that fair? Is that a good recap, guys? Is that good enough?
I think that's a good recap. I think we also got Quan being a rat a little bit.
Yeah,
he made calls and stuff to the. Have we found out who he's a rat to yet?
Yeah. We did. Yeah, it was pretty much discovered like.
I'm sorry. Did everyone else find out, not just us? Because I know we knew from a while.
No, they don't know. We know that it's obviously Kenji and the Kuroki syndicate. But
I think the last one ended with Saya getting captured. I think that's the only thing left to say.
Yeah, pretty much. And Saya getting captured as well. Yeah, that's also very important. But yeah. So that's our little recap, and obviously without further ado, we're gonna be getting into volume 7. So, Demoan, I believe you have issue number 32, sir. So let's talk about that.
I volunteered for it.
Yes.
So this is the first cover of issue 32, Love Like Blood. Raging fire behind them, all of them back to back ready to fight. I think it's a cool cover.
It's dope. I really like it a lot. I mean, obviously it's a very strong indicator that hell is about to break loose right now. So I love it a lot. And it's also the you kind of use this cover as like the trade volume cover as well. So I actually think it looks a lot cooler here. Obviously in the same like style that the trades are in, but
yeah, I didn't notice that.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't notice that either.
But yeah, it's a good time.
That is cool. But yeah, it's good cover. But I don't have also much to say about it. But I think we're ready to start. So issue 32 opens up with this little dialogue with a face of Willie and Saya. And it's just kind of Marcus talking about how sometimes people romanticize bad times. And he's saying that, like, hey, you take lessons out of the bad times, and sometimes you look back and you miss them, even though they were bad. Even though sometimes they were very recent. And then he goes on to have a bunch of flashbacks of the past year at King's Dominion with Willie and Saya and his whole crew smoking on the roof. And then he talks about how he failed to keep it all, though. And then we just get this little small panel of Willie's dead face in the bottom right corner. And now we finally flash back to the room the second we cut away from it. Victor's standing eye to eye with Marcus. Marcus holding a gun at him. And Victor's taunting him because he doesn't want to be held at gunpoint, obviously. He says, you should fight me like a man, sneaking up on me like a coward. But Marcus is saying, a bullet's going to do just fine. Now, if I were Marcus, I would have fired sooner, because he waited a little too long, and the Yakuza come in, and they start wrecking his shit. They start attacking everyone in the room, going after him, Victor. Gosh, I always forget the Hick's name.
Oh, Brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah, the Hick. Yep, that's perfect way to describe her.
That's the only thing I got to say for her. But now the three of them are fighting it out with the Yakuza in this room, trying to survive. And right after that, we cut back to the rest of the crew. And what happened last time after Victor busted in, the whole crew jumped out the window, except for Marcus, who was holding the back line, making sure they got out safe. But Maria, like the badass she is, just kind of walks up to the Yakuza, kind of playing a little dumb, disarms one immediately, and then gunshots the rest of them, rapid fire, and then it just kind of breaks out into a brawl after that. And as they're running through the street, they're just getting shot at, they're getting hit with bullets, but they decide that it's safer for them to split up rather than stay together. Now, something I liked about the pacing of this book is they switched back and forth a lot. So it never felt like I was away from any of the characters for too long in the middle of the action.
Yeah.
Because, again, they switched back to Marcus fighting back-to-back with Victor against the Yakuza. He's throwing Victor a sword. They're trying to help each other. Eventually, they've killed all the Yakuza in the room, and they're standing face-to-face, but Brandy talks them down, saying, hey, the only way we're getting out of here is together. Better not kill yourselves. And this is where they work out an official temporary truce. But what I think is funny is the next one is the Yakuza. They're clearly not trained because of how they're talking. They're like, oh, I was always hoping to be a ninja. And they're being really loud while searching for these people. And they're giving criticism to each other, which I thought was funny.
They sound like Japanese like criminal NPCs in like Arkham games. I thought it was so funny.
They really do. But the entire time, they're giving Zanelle a panic attack. Well, I guess the whole situation is, but them getting closer isn't helping. But when we bounce back, we see Petra and Helmet running, and that's when we find out that the pigs show up, and they start firing at Petra and Helmet. Helmet gets hit, intestines really falling out right in the stomach. And then right after that, we cut right from them. We don't get to see what happens to Helmet immediately after, unfortunately. We've got to wait for that one. But we bounce to Maria and Quan. And Quan's freaking out, doesn't know what to do. But Maria kind of pulls him up to her and kind of talks sense into him and saying, hey, we're going to kill our way out of this, and then I'm going to ask you questions when this is over. And you better tell us the truth. And after that, well, we'll see what happens after you tell us everything. But then we cut away again, and this is one of my favorite panels in this.
Oh my god, issue. It's incredible.
It's like you got it, Mikey, if you want it.
Of course I got it. I mean, shit. I mean, it's just like, bruh, Wes Craig again is like the king of paneling. It is ridiculous. It's just this dope ass splash page of them. Of like Marcus and Victor and Brandy just like fighting, like it's like on their like movements from left to right going down the staircase, while it's the Yakuza going from right to left in a spiral up the staircase at the same time. It's like usually you would you would just have just it's like a stagnant movement, but no, it's kind of like keyframes. Like you see like them, Marcus and Victor and everyone make like they're in two different poses every time they make a move. So like it feels more kinetic. I love it a lot.
Yeah,
it is incredible.
And your eye really follows the movement in the frame as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh. It's just a very alive frame. There's so much going with it. Oh gosh, the bloodshed in this comic always somehow astounds me. But just when we saw this page, I thought it couldn't get better. The next page is just a beautiful 2-page splash.
It is. That don't happen.
Of all three of them just jumping down, Yakuza, a wave of them coming from behind.
It is the background for this video though, so you'll get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, you can kind of see it in the background, but we got the 2-page splash is gorgeous part of it. But the entire time this is happening, Marcus is saying he's got to find Maria. That's all he's worried about. With her, he's normal. He has this bad voice in his head that tells him to do bad things and he doesn't like it. And so he's looking for Maria because without Maria, he's not himself. And it goes very much back into how dependent the two of them are on each other. How they lost a sense of self, like, to each other, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course he's going on about how Saya's not dead. Because the Yakuza's after her. Something's going on. But the three of them got out, safe and sound. Brandy's obviously looking bad. Marcus says we should leave her for dead, but Victor is saying, hey, we'll be a distraction instead. You go get a doctor. So the two of them run, and we see Brandy kind of sneaking away, and Victor and Marcus running away, drawing away the Yakuza, firing guns at them.
See, Marcus had the right idea, though. Leave the redneck racist to, like, bleed out and fend for herself.
She didn't need to be alive, because it comes back to haunt them later.
It does. Also, I wanted to make a note real quick. I don't know if you mentioned that, like, the Yakuza are specifically after Marcus. Like, they mention him by name. And they're just like, huh? Like, what's the deal?
A lot of people after Marcus this issue. For multiple reasons. Well, honestly, all of them related to Saya, but
yeah.
But anyway, after we cut away from them running, we get this. I guess the culmination of Maria's plan with the rope. We see the Yakuza run in, and then we see Maria slide under their legs and pull the rope tight, and then all of a sudden they're all kind of caught in this big human knot bundle. Yeah, that's pulled very tightly with the help of Quan. That fucking rat. But they pulled the ropes tight and they killed everyone with them, I guess.
Bro, Wonder Woman ain't got shit on Maria. I'm sorry. After I saw this shit, I was like, there's no way. There's no way in hell. This is crazy.
Ropes isn't even what she does. She does fans.
Others was nuts. Like,
it really is. But right after this page, we get a sequence of panels that showcases Marcus and Victor running up to a vote, killing Yakuza the entire way down. And the entire way, Marcus is always having these little, like, internal monologues in these scenes. And this one's about how the Yakuza are the least of our worries. We should just worry about getting out of here. Willie would have told us to run, have a normal life, but Marcus doesn't think he can have a normal life, especially considering what he's gone through. And we finally end this issue on a page after all the Yakuza are dead. Marcus and Victor sitting at two ends of the vote, and they look up to each other, swords in hand, and they drop the swords, and it looks like they're going to bare-knuckle brawl, which really doesn't seem like the move for Marcus. Hate to say it.
Nah. You know how yoked Victor is?
Yeah, he's at least twice the size of Marcus.
Marcus is such a twink, bro. There's no way.
He's so skinny. Victor is built like a brick wall, and Marcus is probably going to get his ass kicked, and I guess that's unfortunate, but Victor got his bare-knuckle brawl that he wanted, and it looks like this might be the end for these two. And that's where issue 32 ends.
Yeah, nah, listen. I loved it. I thought this was so good. I thought this was so fun. I do like the fact at the end they're just like, okay, we're in the clear. We just killed a bunch of, like, karaoke guys, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, oh yeah, we're not friends. So this is like I love how like Marcus with his inner monologue as he always does. He's just like, you know, he realizes that, yeah, like this is the moment that we've been waiting for. One of us is going to die, and I love that a lot. I was like, that's a great way to end this shit.
Yeah, I feel like this whole volume, like you mentioned earlier, is very fast paced.
It is.
And coming off a hiatus again, you're thrown right into the action. So I had to remember everything that was going on. Every time they showed Petra in this, I was like, why is Saya here? But I've had that problem since the beginning.
That's so funny.
But yeah, it's a good issue. I don't really have too much to say about it, but the action's very fun. Yeah.
I want to just make a note real quick that, like, well, first off, for the peoples, I think I mentioned this the last podcast we did a while back, but like I don't know anything that happens after volume 6. So like reading like everything after that is like a surprise to me. Like I'm reading for the first time, so I just want to point that out there. But
I'm gonna be doing that after volume 8.
Okay, I gotcha. But I also wanted to make a note as well that like I thought it was very interesting the fact that obviously like, you know, we know that there's something wrong with Zenzele, like because you know, remember either it was the last volume or the volume before, but she had like a random violent outburst and killed 2 Kuroki by herself. So it was like, and obviously she's having like an anxiety attack here. It seems like, and like Tashawi trying to comfort her, but she's not, you know, she's, you know, rejecting him. I like that little mystery that they're like, yeah, like that little undertone is like, yeah, like there's still something about Zenzele and her past that we just don't know about yet. And
well, don't we know what happened? We just don't know the why.
Well, we know the rumor of what.
Yeah,
happened.
I think that's it.
Yeah, we know the rumor of that because like the rumor of that was that she killed her parents, but like, and that's how. But like we don't really know if that's true or not. Like, you know, that was like the underlying like, you know, mystery. But I just want to point that out. I thought it was a really interesting, like, a surprise to see Zenzele go from that like shy girl to then manic murder machine for a hot second, now back to like, you know, having like an anxiety attack pretty much, or panic attack. You know? But other than that, yeah, this issue is awesome. It's so much fun. Again, the pacing is well done. The paneling, again, Wes Craig, king of paneling. Oh man, it's like his storytelling is so good.
Absolutely beautiful ones in this one.
Beautiful ones, man. And yeah, I mean, like, it's just the pacing's great, the action's great. The undertones of like, you know, what Marcus is thinking as usual is really interesting, and you know how it kind of shows kind of like the journey that he's been on after leaving King's Dominion, how that's affected him, and how maybe he may have not have changed post King's Dominion. I think it's really interesting. Yeah, it's good all around. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, he talks a lot about the bad boy, so I think he's trying to fight what King's Dominion did to him.
Also, one more thing. Sorry, I gotta say this, but when he mentioned the fact, like, oh, like the first thing he thinks about is finding Maria, because again, that codependent relationship. It's just it shows the fact that, like, you know, even like, it's just he's honestly just unfortunately using Maria just as a distraction to get away from his own issues, you know, and obviously, like, and once he thought about Maria, he immediately thought about Saya again, because he's like, oh, like they mentioned Saya, ooh, you know, it's again, he doesn't really care that much about Maria.
I don't think it's that he doesn't care, but I think it's like you said, he's more to her than just like a person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's good shit. So I guess we'll just move on to 33. 33. All right, so we're gonna be talking about people. Deadly Class issue number 33, and thoughts on this cover, people. Thoughts on this cover.
I think this is cool. I like how it mirrors the volume covers, where it's that split view of it, and I like their use of just red for the coloring.
I am a fan of monochromatic artwork, so I do like the fact that like red is not just showcasing like a visual monochromatic style, but it's like kind of an allegory for what's going on in terms of like the urgency of the situation. I really like that a lot.
Blood soaked even.
But yeah, I mean, without further ado, so we pretty much start off with our girl, our favorite, I want to say our favorite like badass Yakuza girl. I think that's what we're gonna say. Saya, pretty much tripping the fuck out. She is imagining that she is in a nice, beautiful, watercolored fairy tale world, and is just like pretty much just talking about how, like, obviously, like that, just escaping the world in a way. That's kind of the vibe I got from this, due to the situation that she's in, and then she hears a voice, snaps her back to reality, and it's revealed that she is pretty much in a undisclosed dark location, chained up on a mattress, like pretty much like in her underwear by her brother Kenji. And Kenji pretty much goes on an evil monologue about how he pretty much was jealous of Sai because the kind of like role that a man takes within the Yakuza, being the strong leader, sacrificing, making sacrifices to better their family. Saya kind of took that mantle from not that mantle, but took that kind of like the elders viewed Saya that way rather than him, because there was that situation that was explained during Saya's origin where she pretty much decided to sacrifice her well-being to protect him, which made her seem strong and him seem weak. And he just goes on pretty much an evil monologue just talking about that. And most importantly, he just realizes, hey, like the elders pretty much look up to you. It's pretty much they're waiting for you to graduate from King's Dominion and to take my place and within the Kuroki. But you know what, Saya? You messed up because you left one thing out that could ruin all of that for you, which was the fact that you left Marcus Lopez Arguello alive, and you rose up within the ranks of kings and in terms of the Kuroki social ladder by killing Marcus yourself, which you lied, you made that up, and obviously you did that to protect him because deep down you're in love with him, because you wouldn't do that for anybody else. And he pretty much tells like, you know what? Here's the plan. So I'm gonna tell Master Lin, rat you out, get you expelled from King's Dominion, and also at the same time tell the let the elder Kurokis know, so that you're pretty much shamed. And I get to be the Kuroki symbiote forever. It works out. And he also mentions the fact that, like, Saya's father, Saya's father. Saya wanted to fill the role of her father because her father meant so much to her. And also just the fact that, what would her mother think if all this would happen? And like that would actually hurt her the most because she really cares about what her mother thinks of her. And we knew that back in the previous volumes. But you know what? It's all good. I didn't want you to suffer something that bad like mother's disappointment. So I just took care of it for you. I killed her instead so you don't have to deal with it. And it's just like, damn. Kenji is a monster. And it's just like, whew. This caught me off guard. I don't know about y'all, but like, what do y'all thought about this moment right here?
I didn't think he'd go matricide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I mean, Kenji's not really a redeemable character, at least at this point.
No,
I
not
doubt
at
he's
all.
going to be, but brutal way to kill your mom. I feel like there are easier ways. This is giving big mommy issues.
Right? He had something to deal with that he should have talked out instead.
Yeah, for real. It just shows that Kenji's kind of too far gone in terms of his jealousy with his sister, before he has to kill his mother to make a point. It's kind of wild. But anyway, just to move on. So it transitions back to I'm gonna try to say this, Puerto Añasco, where all our other characters are at. And pretty much we see the local police, which are revealed to have been taking money from the Yakuza, from the Kuroki, to help hunt down the new deadly class, pretty much. It was one officer going to the bathroom, which he sees a puddle of blood and some medical supplies being used. He opens the shower door, and he hears some hissing, and it's revealed to, being what Petra does best, poisoning this motherfucker. And he's skinning him out alive, and he dies, and it's awesome. And then transitions to, and then it cuts to, again, I keep saying Gunter, Helmet, and Petra Helmet's pretty much was revealed to get wrapped up because they got injured during the scuffle, and Petra at the same time is just talking about how no, it's all good, like nothing happened, like it's all fake because this gas she used is reminding her of Billy, and she's pretty much associating and trying to deflect to make sure that she doesn't remember all that. She's trying to avoid that, and the most important thing is for her that she wants to keep Helmet alive and to get them the fuck out of there. Transitions back to Marcus and Victor back at the scuffle. I'm not going to go into detail of what's happening, but it's just like, they're just beating the shit out of each other, left and right. Marcus is throwing punches, Victor's throwing jabs. One's got knocked to the floor, the other one gets knocked to the floor. It's just a really awesome like action montage of like action scenes while Marcus is narrating. It gets to the point where they end up, on this dock. Victor ends up throwing Marcus into the water, and it pretty much is the fight's gonna keep going down from there. And at the same time, though, it's what Marcus is saying is the fact that like he's learning what Master Lin taught him, channel all the anger that you've dealt with in your life into this moment, just using your anger to survive. And I thought that was really interesting. Transitions again to Zenzele and Shawi. Again in the they were in a closet before. I don't know if they're in the same place or not, but I thought they were in a closet before, and now they just moved to another area to hide. But like obviously she's having a panic attack. Shawi's trying to be a good boyfriend. I don't even know if they confirmed to be dating or not, but it's whatever. It's not really the point. Calm her down. She's praying because again, Zenzele's a very religious person, and talking about how she doesn't want the devil to overcome her. And to Shawi's just trying to understand like what's going on, and then we get kind of like the origin of her backstory, and it's pretty much revealed that back her parents were fairly wealthy people. They were going to not really wealthy, but pretty well off in terms of African people where they're from. They're headed to Johannesburg to meet with her father had a business meeting with a Johannesburg rich white person, and they were pretty much making a deal. And this deal was discovered by Zenzele, who was a child over listening the whole thing, that Zenzele's father was going to pretty much sell go into like sex trafficking to help receive funds from this billionaire so that they can expand more territory within her family's pretty much criminal organization. And while this was happening, obviously she, as a child, she was not about it. She ran away. Her mother tried to understand that it's going to be good for the family. She pretty much tried her best to acclimate as much as possible. But while this is happening, though, she started hearing a voice pretty much telling her that what she's witnessing here from what her father is doing is evil. So therefore, the only solution is to take out that evil, which is revealed. From King's Dominion was confirmed that she did kill her parents because of that. And then she was taken in by this rich South African billionaire to pretty much be raised to be muscle for her, and that's why he sent her to King's Dominion to fulfill that wish. And while this is happening, though, she says, I'm a vessel of Satan, something was wrong with me. And just always like, listen, that's not the case. The reason why people even believe in evil and why religion was even created by, what Christianity was created by, European people, was to make a valid point for why they do the evil that they do. She's trying to justify what's going on. While this is happening, though, the ninjas come through and reveal to have Brandy hostage. And they plan on killing her. Obviously, Brandy is super racist and is saying every racial slur against Japanese people in the book and telling me, no, listen, like, just shoot me. I don't care. Just take the shot. Shawi wants to tell Zenzele that, hey, we should help her out. Like, we can't let her die. But this interesting little speech bubble is happening throughout the course of her panic attack in this issue, where he's like, we shouldn't let her die, and we shouldn't let her die. This evil voice that comes out of nowhere from Zenzele is like, no, we should let them kill Brandy. And that's how issue 33 ends. So thoughts on issue 33?
I think Zenzele is a really compelling character. I like how in her backstory she already knows her parents are evil. I don't know if you said it exactly like this, but they're already sex trafficking before they use her as collateral, basically. And I think that conflict within her of like my parents were evil, but I'm evil for killing them is really interesting, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I think it also makes her very sympathetic, and again, just adds another to her rage here, especially at the end where she's like, "Let them kill Brandy," because Brandy's not a good person.
Yeah.
I also really like the
wash evil with evil.
Wait, what was that?
I said the wash evil with evil, like she said.
Yeah.
Like the killing.
But I was gonna say, I also really like the stuff with Petra in here and how when she killed Billy, like she was looking into his eyes and it's like, "You're gonna help me like become who I need to be," whatever. And then this, she can't even think that she's actually killing a dude.
Yeah, it's gone. She's gone that far. It traumatized her that much. The point where like she's trying to find reasons to dissociate, even murdering somebody, even if it's for someone's own protection. You know,
right? I mean, there was one point in the scene right before we cut back to the fight with Marcus and Victor, where she turned to Helmet and said, "You gave me a reason to live." Like she was ready to kill herself and die at any moment until Helmet came along. Like that's the only reason that she's holding on, at least right now, that she can tell.
Yeah, which was valid. I mean, like she was not in a good place right after the events of like the final exam. So
she killed one of her boys, and now she can't even reckon that she kills people anymore, I guess.
Yeah, because she's guilty. She feels guilty about killing Billy, and she won't admit it. You know,
she got out of that. She changed her entire personality to be someone she was not, and then when she realized that, she was like, "Oh shit, what do I do now?"
But yeah, I also want to make a note. I do love the fight between Marcus and Victor because Marcus obviously sees Victor as one of the reasons why like his best friend Willie was taken from him, and again he that narration about like using what Matthew taught him, take the anger that he's go through his entire life, his parents dying, the homeless being involved with stuff with fuckface and the boys' home, Willie being murdered, take all that anger and use it, and it's kind of working in his favor a little bit because he was kind of evenly matched for a while with Victor until Victor kind of got the upper hand a little bit, it seems like. But yeah, I thought it was awesome. But I want to bring this up real quick. I'm talking just to run it back with Zenzele because again, I love her origin a lot. Like I love the fact that Rebecca, you're right, it makes her very sympathetic. The fact that even though her parents were pretty much criminals, pretty much criminals, she has a valid moral code behind her, and obviously knew what they were doing was wrong, and then took action. I don't know about what you guys thought about this, but I thought that the way she spoke about the devil possessing her, and the devil coming after her, and that she is in terms of how God views her, she is, there's something wrong with her, in terms of, her faith, right? How she's just faith to determine what's wrong with her. And obviously the various different look of like the lettering with the speech bubbles, and obviously the random violent outbursts we saw in the previous issues. I honestly thought this was kind of confirmed that I think Zenzele has DID and has another personality that's kind of like an avenging angel in a way. And I thought made her character very interesting because it kind of makes sense why she would believe the things that she would believe about herself, because it's the 80s. DID is kind of a misunderstood disorder at that time, and it wasn't really taken very seriously or studied as much, so
yeah, I'm not sure if I'm ready to say that just yet with her. From what I've seen, I think I mean, like you said, it is like a switch flips in her when she goes into her I don't even know what you call it, when she brings out her hammers, basically. But
yeah.
Her rage, I guess, is probably the closest thing to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be ready to say it's like a different personality, quote unquote.
Yeah. I think I would need more information for that one, but she's...
I think it's just like religious trauma, because like you were saying too, there's a lot you could say here with religion being used to control her, even if she is especially even if she's a true believer. Because you think about Christianity, like listen to your parents and don't kill people are two of the big ones up there.
Yeah, true.
2 of the first 5.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. It was just a theory because that's what I was thinking. That's how I was interpreting it, the whole thing. You know. So I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You could be right too. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. I thought this issue was really good. I don't know what any other closing thoughts before we move on to 34.
No,
All
not
right.
30 from this issue. No.
Okay. All right. So I mean, Rebecca, I believe you have 34.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, really cool cover here. Again, always love the use of color on these covers. This one's really intense, especially in the facial expressions.
Right.
And yeah, just I like how it draws her eye down towards Marcus drowning.
Mm-hmm. Good use of pink too. I just like it. It's such a good cover.
Yeah, very intense.
Right. There's definitely a lot going on because, especially, God, I love that cover. I think that one might be my favorite one from this batch.
I got you.
Because I really love this whole fight just together, so I like the way the cover portrays it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Is that it on the cover?
Yeah, that's it. I have no thoughts.
All right. So issue 34 opens on Quan freaking out about the possibility of having to fight his way out of their terrible situation. Maria questions why he even went to King's, and more importantly, why the Kuroki know his name. He tries to play dumb, saying he's not cut out for this, but when Maria threatens to cut off a finger for each lie he tells, he confesses that he got a Yakuza boss's daughter knocked up, and Kenji got her an abortion and hid the pregnancy.
Couldn't even take one finger.
Could take one finger. Well, first off, he couldn't even put on he couldn't even use a condom to make sure he didn't get a crow. He didn't even get a Yakuza boss's daughter pregnant and getting this bullshit in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we knew about this. Like, I think he revealed that. Like,
yeah, I think he said that in one of the prior volumes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, in return for this favor, Quan had to go to King's and get Dirt and Saya. Maria laments that people like Quan are always the same, willing to do anything to protect themselves, but she's interrupted by breaking glass and gunfire. Quan tells her to go ahead without him and to save his friends, but when it seems like for a second he might just be able to have a backbone and stand up for himself, he chickens out and surrenders to the Kuroki, telling them that basically if they spare him, he can lead them to the others.
oh god, Quan,
He sucks.
He's a rat. I hate him.
like he was about to have this one redeeming moment to stand up to, you know, the people that are controlling him and to stand up for his friends. But he's like, no, really, honestly, I'm too much of a bitch, so fuck my friends.
He's just a coward. I hate him.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Brandy is still being held at gunpoint, but before she can be shot point blank, she makes her move, escaping the goons' grasp and causing them to be shot instead. She gouges her main attacker's eyes out and steals his gun, saying they underestimated the wrong white girl. But just then, Zinzelle pops out with a knife, saying she's not a white girl, but a white devil. The two fight with Tashawi hitting Brandy with his skateboard as Zinzelle recovers from being knocked down. However, Brandy grabs Zinzelle's knife and uses it to slice off Tashawi's fingers, like all 4 of them.
Bro,
Not a great situation.
Can't even make a fist no more. That sucks.
I thought this was wild. But like,
It is kind of wild.
There's also such a clean cut through fingers.
It is a very sharp knife, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably a Japanese chef's knife because, you know, those seem to be sharp.
They take care of those things.
Yeah, listen, Irish chefs use it for a reason. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. So anyway, they manage to run away, though they leave Toshawi's fingers behind, or at least I'm assuming they do. I don't see them grab them.
I don't know.
So I don't think he has.
No, they did have to dip with his fingers because it's mentioned in the next issue that he didn't get them.
Okay, that's what I thought. But anyway, they're able to get away when Petra and Helmut show up in a car, almost hitting them in the process. And they leave Brandy behind with them, with her not far behind them, remarking that if she's dying, they're coming with her. So over with Marcus and Victor. Marcus is getting his ass kicked, unsurprisingly, from what we saw last issue. Half drowned and thinking he's bored, which is a weird phrase to use, of being himself and all the pain that comes with being a part of him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maria shows up just as Marcus is more or less about to drown, slicing Victor from behind and giving Marcus a moment to recover. As she's now the one kicking Victor's ass, she exclaims all they wanted was to be left alone, but they couldn't allow that, bringing them back down to their level of depravity whenever they have to fight them, basically. Dragging Marcus out of the ocean, she hands him a gun. She took off a dead Kuroki. Marcus points it point blank at Victor, with Victor saying this is Marcus's perfect type of revenge since he didn't earn it.
Soft boys revenge.
Soft boys revenge.
Yeah. Marcus can't pull the trigger, however, as Willie's ghost, or maybe it's more accurate to say Marcus's hallucination of Willie, essentially tells him he doesn't have to kill Victor and become what Master Lin wanted him to be. He's already beaten Victor. Marcus says Victor deserves this for cutting Willie's life short, but Willie suggests Victor is just as much of a pawn in someone else's games as they all were.
Mm-hmm.
Victor then chimes in that Marcus chose to go to Kings and that Marcus only thinks he's a villain because he was better at playing the game, basically being a better student. During this conflict, Victor also drops that Petra killed Billy and more or less bragged about it to get a seat at the table. Marcus and Maria say that he's lying, but this breaks Marcus. Working up his rage once again, Marcus raises his gun to shoot Victor, and we literally end the issue with a bang, to be continued.
Yeesh.
Oh. They become exactly what you expect.
Exactly. I want to take a. Actually, no, I'll say that for when we start the next issue. But I really loved the moment where, like, you know, obviously, like, Willie was kind of like, in a way, in sense of like kind of a moral compass for Marcus, a moral compass that Marcus barely listened to. But, you know, I did love the fact that when Marcus has, you know, pretty much the opportunity to just become what Master Lin wanted from him, and that's what Willie mentions, and Ghost Willie mentions in this. But I love the fact that, you know, Willie's goodness impacted Marcus so much to him during their friendship is that it's you know, it's in a way, you know, Willie almost has a way to Ghost Willie has a way to turn him back, but obviously we don't know the aftermath of that because he seems to shoot Victor anyway. Mm-hmm. So, like, in the way Master Lin kind of, in a sense, wins as far as we can see at the ending of this volume. But I love the use of Willie in this a lot. I thought it was great.
Especially because they've been using him the entire time we've seen him in Mexico, right? Because that's also the opening with the journal. I love that Willie hasn't left the story. Because Willie was one of my favorite characters.
He was. Yeah. But other than that, though, good. I mean, it's a good issue. Again, it's just Quan sucks.
Quan's the worst.
The worst. Like, I feel like by the time we finish finish this whole podcast, I have to make like eat shit Quan shirts because like that is the whole vibe of like this entire series so far. It's just but remember,
he's only been here for like 2 volumes.
I know, but like you already hate him. I already don't like. The thing is, like, just remember throughout the past 2 volumes, it's made him feel like, like you like Quan for a second, then you immediately don't like him. Then you may seem to be redeeming, and then he's not again. And it's just like, damn. It's just like, you know. But
he gets so many chances and just fails every single time.
Mm-hmm. But besides Quan, I do like, you know, again, the action is still on point. The use of Brandy now, you know, somehow still surviving because she is badly hurt and should have died already, is somehow using her racism to give her a second win and trying to kill Zinzeli and Toshawi is crazy. Again, I still think my theory is a little valid when I think that Zinzeli has DID.
Hey, listen, there's still 4 volumes. Maybe it'll be in there, but like I said,
I'm not saying it's invalid. I'm just saying I don't see it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this though. That panel where you see Zenzele lunge at Brandy, calling her a white devil. You see Zenzele's in the action, her face looking angry, but then you see Zenzele's like another outside sketch that Craig does, where it looks like Zenzele is like kind of in shock of what's going on. Like it looks like she's not in control. So I'm just like, DID. But yeah. Besides that, that stuff's awesome. Again, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what are y'all on 30?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting angle. Like they say in this, that Victor is as much of a victim as like Willie was, or Marcus, or any of the other kids at King's, because he is right in a lot of ways, and they touch on that a lot more in next issue, which I think it's done even better there. I also kind of feel like at this point, like the fight's good, but it's also a little too drawn out.
Yeah, it is.
And I also noticed too, and this isn't a problem, we have a lot of ending on people maybe getting shot.
Are you a little annoyed by that?
I'm not annoyed. It's just a cliffhanger they like to pull out a lot.
I honestly, Marcus should have died a couple times in that fight. I don't know why Victor didn't capitalize.
I know, right? It's just, but hey, listen, it's still cool. But at the same time, I do like the fact that the moment that it's revealed that Petra killed Billy, like Victor reveals that Petra killed Billy to climb up the social hierarchy in King's Dominion, like Marcus completely breaks down, because also Billy was one of his best friends as well, and clearly did not deserve to die the way he did.
Yeah, well, the last issue too, they were so happy to see her. They did, because they didn't know.
They didn't know,
right?
And the thing is, like, at this point, like when he's breaking down, like it's him and Maria were like, "You're lying," but like Victor's like, "Am I though? Am I really?" Like it's just it's. No, that was such a cool moment. But yeah, is Victor dead? Ooh, Ooh. But yeah, I got nothing to say. I thought this issue was good. Was good. But again, Rebecca, you're right. The fight doesn't get drawn on a lot. But hey, you didn't read Invincible, so you're not used to it. All right, so you want to move on to 35? I think Demoan, I think that's you, right?
Yep, I volunteer for it again.
So issue number 35 of Deadly Blast.
This is my second favorite color. I love horizontal. No, vertical.
Vertical.
Vertical. Thank you.
We're stupid. How the fuck did that take us a while?
Wow, that was rough. I spaced for a second, but I love the vertical orientation of this one. Marcus just kind of staring off into what for him would be the air, but it's just like a straight up standing one for us. The guns floating in the water. He's just clearly done with the fight. He doesn't want to do anything anymore. I think this is probably the manifestation of him being bored, like was said in the last issue. He just is done with it. But I like it. It's my second favorite cover. The way he kind of pops out of the water is wonderful.
It's great.
I think this cover is a little boring compared to the rest of them, but it's just a simple cover, you know?
But maybe that's the point, because Marcus is bored.
No, yeah, I can see what you're saying there. I'm just saying, personally, it's not... I don't think it's the most exciting cover.
That's understandable. Okay. But I don't think there's anything else to say about the cover. It's simple. It's nice.
Yep.
But we start off issue 35 with Marcus saying his ears are ringing. We get him looking down his hand, holding the gun, talking about how the bad voice said his enemies deserve to die, and how he'd become something that he swore he'd never become. But then, on the next page, we see that he didn't shoot Victor.
Yay!
Apparently just fired into the ground or something, or the water, just missed him, is the point.
I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first started reading this shit, I was like really hoping that I thought he actually did it, and I was like, yes, finally, he didn't miss for once, thank God. But I didn't like that first until we finished the issue. But
but he's right. But if he did do that, he would have become exactly what that place made him to be, which is what he was trying not to be for Willie. But at first, he doesn't know why he missed. But so he asks Victor, what do you want? And Victor says he wants to be the top KGB sniper in Russia, serve his motherland, make his father proud. And Marcus says, is this making your dad proud? And then he starts going into questions saying like how you're here and you're idolizing your dad and all the awful things he does. And he's even got your mother killed, which we find out also in this conversation that Victor's mom died because of his dad.
Well, I think we knew that already.
Yeah, we knew that.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was some flashback a while ago. I don't know what volume.
Okay. I guess I forgot about that. It's been a minute, but...
Yeah.
But he's saying it's the sacrifice for our homeland. And Victor's like, so you have to buy into this for it all to be worth it. Otherwise, your mom died for nothing and your dad was just a dick. And he asked, did you feel noble after what happened with Willie? And it's like, well, it was my assignment. Well, you chose to accept the assignment. Like, this is what you did. And then he goes on about how I want the same thing, though. I also want to kill the bastards that ruined my life. We both got into this for a reason. And we're both at King's, either to punish or revenge. And it's just all messed up. And the only way to win, according to Marcus, is to forgive the monsters and walk away. And as he's doing this, he drops the gun on the ground next to Victor, and he walks away with Maria. So Victor's just being left there in his own, honestly, defeated sadness, shame probably, just left to think over what's happened to him. But,
I love this page, by the way.
Oh, it's great. It is a great page.
Marcus really got fucked up.
Marcus got fucked up. Marcus does not look pretty at all. Gosh, it's a good page. But then we, after we see them walking away, we transition to the car. Everyone in the car driving away. Petra's saying, "We got to keep it together." And Helmet's complaining about how he's holding his intestines in. And this is where we find out also that Tasawa did not get his fingers, because when they talk about getting over the border and going to a no-questions clinic, he asked, do they regrow fingers? He's got just nubs. So I guess a thumb?
He has a thumb left, yeah.
He has a thumb. That's better than nothing.
And you can... Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
I don't either, but again, better than nothing. But, of course, and they should have worried about it sooner, we see them driving, and Brandy comes up with a gun and starts shooting at all of them, and just kind of peppers the whole car. They crash into a tree. It looks like they're passed out. Zenzele pulls out Tasawa, and she's now being held at gunpoint by Brandy. Zenzele begs for not her own life, but Tasawa's life. Brandy says, it's okay, I'm going to kill him and his whole family, so no one will have to worry about him.
Because she's racist, guys.
She's real racist. She's coming after them real hard, but luckily Petra's still in the car, opens the door, slams at her, and is able to tackle her. Because of this, everyone's able to run away, and right as this is happening, Marcus and Maria also run up. Maria runs off, but Marcus and Petra kind of run off together into an alley. And while they're hiding there, Marcus decides to take now to turn to Petra and say, hey, I know about Billy. I know what you did. And he's saying he knows it's that place, and he knows it's not her specifically, it's what King's Dominion does to people. And he says he forgives her. Now, of course, this is very short-lived, as he's immediately hit over the skull with a piece of wood by Brandy. They shouldn't have turned their backs for a second, which they did. First mistake. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she crushes him. He's on the ground, immediately goes to Petra and kind of stabs her in the neck. It's real ugly look. Marcus can't pull himself off the ground to try to save her, but he also realizes that while he's on the ground and she's dying, that he doesn't forgive her. but she'll die thinking that he did, but he knows in his heart that she wasn't forgiven by him. Then everyone finally comes along. Brandy runs away. Helmet comes up and sees Petra dying, picks her up, and is like, Petra, I got you. We gotta get you. You're bleeding. And this is where Petra breathes her last breath, and where Helmet tells Petra, I love you for the first time. The only time. Because Petra said it a couple times throughout this, said Helmet's the reason for living. That's why she's here right now. And she dies in his arms. And she gets, and I love you. And I hope it was honest, because I had hopes for them before our girl died here. Although
I didn't see this shit coming. I really didn't. I was like, wow. Like,
I thought Helmet would die first, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is such a sweet moment. It's sad because now after seeing all what Petra went through and like, you know, her growth as a character, it's kind of just like, damn, fucking Brandy had to cut her shit short.
Right.
While she was like kind of somewhat getting a sense of, you know, normalcy, obviously with, you know, Helmet in her life. Super sad. And obviously,
stable.
Yeah, and it just shows that, like, you know, Helmet actually really did, like, their relationship was genuine as hell. Like, he kissed her on the forehead, said I love you, and then he died in his arms. And the fact that he even goes on by saying I don't want to leave her here, and takes her body with him too, I was like, wow.
Yeah, because that's the next thing. Because they obviously are in this situation. They got to get running. So Helmet won't let them leave the body there, even though it's a literal dead body dragging down. Like, wait. But it's, God, I love this scene with Helmet and Petra. I think it's my favorite of the whole volume, to be honest. But like I said, they won't let Petra leave the body. And this is where the Yakuza come back up. And you know how Quan gets so many chances to do the right thing?
Yeah.
Quan gets another chance to not be a rat.
What does he do, Demoan? What does he do?
Oh, what does he do? He points and he's a rat. They ask him which one is Marcus, and he immediately points like the rat he is. And they tell Marcus, hey, if you come with us, we'll let your friends live. And Marcus says, nope, you're going to kill us all anyway. So we're going to die together if we're going to die. And they have plans to shoot all of them except the boy. And then suddenly, big gunfire comes from out of nowhere to them. Shoots the main guy through the neck. Then another bullet. And then they realize there's a sniper somewhere high. And as we're driving around, the police also come into the picture, and they're hit by the same sniper. And that's when we finally find out that Victor is covering them. I guess Victor feels like he owes Marcus some kind of life debt after being not killed. So he's come back to help them, hopefully this one last time. Because hopefully they would never cross paths again, but we unfortunately know that likely won't be the case.
It'd be real weird if Victor became part of the team after this.
No. Yeah, it would be weird. You know, I doubt that will happen. I don't want that to happen.
It'd be a weird, messed up tension. It would be weird. I mean, it'd be better than Shabnam, at least.
Yeah.
Shabnam.
I'll say this: if Marcus can't forgive Petra, he definitely couldn't forgive Victor.
Victor, no way. No way. It would be using each other relationship strictly. But they're able to get away with Victor's cover, zooming away, and they're able to make it back to Tasawe's reservation. They stay there. We actually cut in on Tasawe coming back from the store. He says they didn't have milk, but they had beer. And that's when... I don't know if it's his parents or grandparents or just in general something elder. But
I thought they were his grandparents.
I think they said
probably it. Oh no, they do say grandparents because they said the grandparents are letting us stay. I'm sorry, I missed that. But he says he gotta have priorities. And we have this little talk, and while this is happening, Marcus is having his little monologue about how he feels like there's gonna talk coming with Helmet. and how he's not actually mourning Petra, but he feels like he's pretending about it. And he just doesn't know how when someone dies right in front of you that you don't feel anything. And he doesn't forgive her. He appreciates that the situation is what made her what she was, but he doesn't think better of her for succumbing to the weakness of it, of killing their friend and then using it for gain. But what's also nice about this, I want to point out before I get to the panels Mikey put up, is that Zanel and Tasawa are really close. They're like cuddling a little bit. It's real nice to see Zanel kind of winding down after what everyone's been through, but she's had multiple panic attacks throughout the time, so it's nice to see her calm. Mm-hmm. But we finally get to a picture of Petra's grave, a cross with 2 flowers, and Helmet standing at it. And Marcus walks up to him and says, "I loved her too." And then there's just silence for a little bit. And Helmet says, "Petra told me she was once responsible for a friend's death." And Marcus says, "I forgave her. I tried to help her. I swear to God, Helmet." Helmet says, "Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't matter. Especially doesn't matter to Petra." And we get this page of him walking away from the grave as Marcus stands there, beer in hand, just kind of staring at it, all beaten up from all their miraculous misadventures. And that's the end of issue 35. And also the end of Love Like Blood.
I think this is a great ending.
I like this ending a lot too. It does kind of showcase that, like, Marcus kind of, again, from the last issue, that he kind of truly didn't believe that he forgave Petra, and obviously at this last moment, part of the end of the issue where he kind of says the same things, like, "Hey, listen, like, I tried to help her, like, I forgave her," but then Helmet's pretty much like, "Yeah, no, that's cap," and we all know it.
Okay, but here's what I think is compelling on that. Because he did tell her, "I forgive you," and I feel like if he didn't care about her at all, he wouldn't have said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he does still care. He did still care for her and have like good feelings for her, but even if he couldn't admit it, because he like comforted her to some degree in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, and it was kind of a nice reminder that like they were in kind of like a brief relationship. Earlier, a couple volumes ago. So it was nice to be reminded of that. Yeah, like, you're right. Yeah, if he didn't care about her in some relevance, then he wouldn't have said he forgave her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, that's
because I can't imagine doing that for Victor. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, I was about to say, he wouldn't do that for Victor. So, but yeah, what are your thoughts on Marcus, like, turning the other cheek and not killing Victor? I just kind of cemented what I said last issue, the fact that like, not turning the other cheek and not wanting to kill Victor, because again, like, the people that got him here in the first place win, and again, that's something that Willie would have done, which again kind of showcased, like, Marcus has changed as a character from where we saw him, when once he left King's Dominion. I thought it was like seeing Willie's ghost talk to Marcus, and now Marcus, but I thought that was kind of a cement. Like Marcus has changed as like for the better in a way. Obviously he still has a long way to go. It's still rough around the edges. He's still an edgy boy after all. But he still has changed as a character. I don't know what your thoughts on that moment.
I think it'll be interesting to see if Marcus kills anyone from this point forward in the story, because I feel like this for him is kind of assuming he sticks with it at the end of his character arc. He's saying, "I'm not gonna be part of the machine. I gotta walk away from killing." He could still do Batman basically killing someone, but they're not actually dead violence. But
just crippling a hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. But then what would you say about Victor? Then just the contrast with Marcus, now Victor realizing, like, he is just, he doesn't have this pride going against him and the chip on his shoulder being a good student. He's still just he's still just meat going into the meat grinder like the rest of them, and realizing that causes him to change. I don't know what your thoughts on that. I really like that a lot.
I think the big thing for Victor is going to be him getting back to King's Dominion and how he acts there, because I think that's the most negative influence on him. And can he prove that he's actually grown? And that's what we're going to hopefully see. And I guess only four volumes left?
Or
five.
Five, technically. Because I think it's 12, right?
Yeah. 5 volumes.
Yeah, I think you bring up some good points. I'm not sure where Victor's character is going to go, because he said he wanted to be KGB, so does he still want to kill? Does he still want to be that guy after this? We'll have to read and see.
Does Mother Russia still have a claim on him? Is he still potentially Stalin's golden boy? I don't know. It's that's going to be interesting though. Like what is he going to do when Shabnam finds out? Because obviously, Shabnam's a master.
It doesn't matter what Shabnam thinks. He can beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, I don't know how he's still alive through all of this, to be honest.
I know that, obviously, but, like, Shabnam still kind of does have a kind of, like, a hold on a lot of the other jocks because, again, he has leverage on everybody. So, I mean, I'm just curious to see, like, what is he going to do when it comes to, like, Shabnam being involved? Because Shabnam rules the school right now, and him and Victor were having beef right before this happened, and that's why he wanted to hunt down Marcus, because to restake his claim, restake his his place within King's Dominion. So I don't know. It just I think that's gonna be interesting for me. I interesting dynamic. But yeah, I got nothing else to say. I mean, this issue was great. I mean, again, that ending was very powerful, and obviously R.I.P. to Petra. To add to the list of fallen King's Dominion students. But any more thoughts on 35 before we move on to the final thoughts of the whole volume?
I don't think I got extra thoughts on 35.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So we'll just move on to final thoughts, people. So what are y'all thoughts on volume 7, Love Like Blood, as a whole?
I like this volume. I haven't disliked any of the volumes so far. This felt like it was very action-packed, which, again, not a bad thing, but it felt like there was a little less to chew on as far as, like, character development in this volume.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Demoan?
Yeah, I think I agree with Rebecca on, like, there was so much action that most of the dialogue was just Marcus talking to himself, it felt like.
Yeah.
And there's just only so much character growth you can have when one character is doing 80% of the talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's only so much you can get out of Marcus saying killing is bad for 4 issues.
Yeah. I do think though that like that Saya, I kind of wanted like at least like another moment with Saya, after this, because that was kind of like a breather of like all the heavy action, because she had the most I like her moment with Kenji was more dialogue heavy. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to see, what the aftermath of, her finding out her mother, Kenji killed her mom. I agree though. The action is very action packed, but again, and very well paced in terms of the action. But again, I feel like, even though there was some character growth, there could have been more, there could have been more there, in terms of the whole arc as a whole. But the characters did still grow throughout the course of this arc, so which is great. And I'm looking forward to definitely seeing, how these changes will affect these characters going forward, especially Marcus and Victor. Like those two, I'm very intrigued by.
I'm also intrigued by Marcus and Helmet, because I want to see exactly how far Helmet will take this grudge, I guess you may call it. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's what you would call it. Yeah, like a grudge. But yeah, I mean, it's so far. I thought this was good. And again, it was short. It was a quick read because only 4 issues. So
it's a page flipper too.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I got through it pretty quick. But yeah, man, I loved it. I loved it. Not my favorite, not one of my favorite volumes, obviously, but I mean, it's still good. Like Rebecca said, each volume has not been terrible. They've all been great, good or great for the most part. But yeah. Any more thoughts before we close out?
I think
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, people. Well, that's pretty much it, y'all. Thanks for everybody who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. Yeah, people, we're back. We're back doing Deadly Class again. I mean, we're just finished up Volume 7. And, we still have, a couple of 5 more episodes, to go. But again, I'm excited. Again, I don't know nothing about what happens after Volume 6. So it's just going to be a good ride from here, just to experience for the first time. But yeah, people, just so y'all know, next episode we will cover, again, we don't know when I'm trying to do week every week, but we could just go back to the bi-weekly thing. We don't know what the schedule has. We haven't really talked about it. But,
he hasn't told me we were doing weekly, so that's new to me.
Yeah. But the next volume that we're going to be talking about, obviously, is going to be volume number 8, which is going to be titled Never Go Back, and it's going to be covering issues 36 to 39. And I'm excited because this seems like this is going to be Shabnam focused a little bit, the mastermind, to see what has he been up to and what his thoughts on everything during King's Dominion. We're going back to King's Dominion for this volume, which again I'm very intrigued by. After all these changes seeing all these changes that have been happening throughout the course of this volume and the previous. But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully y'all are excited. But yeah, people, just be on the lookout for that when that drops. Click the notification bell so you know when we drop new content. Leave a comment, leave some likes on this video, please. What are your thoughts on this volume? Have you read it? What are your thoughts about it? What are some interesting moments that you enjoyed from reading this if you read it? Check out all our other content. Check out, our 2 one-and-dones we did, our 2 specials, our excellent special that me and Demoan did, and our Bitch Planet special that me and Rebecca did. Those were a lot of fun. Check out the Indie Corner Plays, where Rebecca has been playing Resident Evil 2 remake with Christian and I. It's been a lot of fun watching Rebecca try to play horror game and us giving her moral support. And yeah, that's been a good time. Yeah, check out again Transformers. Check out the After Dark, especially the one we did with The Boy Without Fear, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, people, we got more content building. We got some more stuff on the way. Even an interview that may happen that's kind of in the works. I'm not revealing anything yet, obviously, but it's still in the works. But I've told Rebecca about it, and she's excited. So
it'd be really cool if it actually happens.
You're really cool if it actually happens. But as always, people, get home safe. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Look out for more content soon. We'll catch y'all next time. All right. Peace.
I'm safe.
Bye.